EBT. I don't give a fuck. Shut up. So they been playing with my food stamps. Talking about I didn't certify on time. It's the summertime and I forget. Kids out of school, I forgot all about that shit. And then why we gotta do it every 6 months any goddamn? Stupid. And when I went to the office, I asked at window 1. I said, hey, am I late? And she said, no, you great. And I was like, cool, I'ma bake a cake. But the cake didn't get made because I ain't getting no stamps. Wouldn't shit on my EBT. I'm looking like, what's going on? They said you certified late. I said I ain't certified late. That bitch told me what she told me, and she said that I was on time. And they told me I'm not always there when you call, but we gonna be on time. And I said the time is right now. So they told me because I certified late, I can't be great that day. So
why are you trying to certify right at the last minute in the nick of time? That's what we need to understand. Why are you trying to certify at the last minute? You know what's crazy? So you was late to certify. You literally had one job. And your one job was to get certified every 6 months. So you know when it's coming because it's going to come 6 months later than the last time you certified. But you had one job, literally and figuratively, because you probably don't even have a job. So this is literally the one thing that you had to make sure that you did. And she might have a job. I'm being facetious to make the point. But you had one job, ma'am, to get this certified. This is supposed to be temporary. It's supposed to be a temporary hand up. This is not supposed to be a lifestyle. So you shouldn't even care about this because you shouldn't be seeing yourself on it, having to do it 6 months later, 6 months later. Man, you could change your life in 6 months. You could absolutely change your life in 6 months. So why are you expecting that you're going to have to do it again in the next 6 months? Because we see a lot of people out here not trying, but they'll come on TikTok with all this energy, all this expressiveness, but yet they're not focusing it into productive means, which is ultimately just trying to salvage and save their own situation, in my opinion.
I can't be great that day. So I told them, if you don't certify my motherfucking stamps right now,
What?
then I'm gonna call Attorney General on you hoes. Bitch called me the next day and said my stamp's gonna be great today. The motherfuckers released that shit because I kept telling them all you gotta do is press a button. The information is the same. Stop playing me, gang. Give me my goddamn food stamps. Yeah, I'm entitled to that shit. Is mad, bitch. Look at all the people about to be in the comments.
Did she got her kid crying in the background? Did y'all hear that? Because you're acting erratic. So now you done troubled your child because your child don't know what's going on. You hear the child crying in the background.
The motherfuckers released that shit because I kept telling them all you gotta do is press a button. The information is the same. Stop playing me, gang. Give me my goddamn food stamps. Yeah, I'm entitled to that shit. Is mad, bitch.
Y'all heard that little child crying? Ma'am, stop scaring your child. Stop scaring your children. Acting crazy on TikTok. Y'all, let's get back into it, man.
This country is a fucking joke.
But before we do, if you could like the video, I greatly appreciate it. It only takes a second and it actually helps out more than you know. And then also if you can hype the video as well. And I did just launch the Clips channel as well. So if you could go over there and subscribe to that channel, I greatly appreciate it. I post 3 times a day and we're trying to get it to 4,000 watch hours before February 1st when the new YouTube rules go into effect. It'll be pinned in the it'll be linked in the pinned comment at the top. Now let's get back into it.
Country is a fucking joke. It's a joke. You mean to tell me they're taking food stamps out of people's mouths for the month of November? Are we talking about everybody in the country? Nobody's getting SNAP benefits, food stamps for the month of November? Is that what we're like? Are we really saying that? Are we really saying, hey, we need to save some money, so we're going to make sure underprivileged people cannot eat? The fact that we have billionaires sitting on so much money and they could take $1 billion out of their pocket and not skip a beat. They wouldn't skip a beat. They wouldn't hurt at all, but they would.
I hate when people use these words. Underprivileged. Underprivileged. Why are you any less privileged than anyone else? You got a working brain. You got a working body. We all have different circumstances, but they all come with their own pros and cons. Somebody who comes from a family that may be rich or whatever, well, guess what? They're not going to be that savvy. They're not going to have street smarts. They're not going to be capable. And if they ever do become successful, they'll never be able to say that they did it off their own merit. It can be a blessing to be the first person to actually start having success, or just to be able to take pride in knowing that you actually made yourself who you are. But what do we mean underprivileged? Ma'am, you're underprivileged, but you're thinking about other people, i.e., billionaires and all this type of stuff. I don't think that you're underprivileged. I think that instead of focusing on other people, maybe focus on yourself. And I think you'll see a lot more outcomes and results. But people will be focused on other people. They'll be on social media. So what she's also probably focused on other people because she's also probably in a constant comparison loop. And by constant comparison loop, it's very easy to constantly be comparing other people like she is because she probably stays on social media. She probably stays on social media. And it's very easy to fall into that trap if you do.
They wouldn't hurt at all, but they would rather have people starving. That seems more logical. This country is pissing me off, and I'm mad because I can't do anything about it. Me, myself, personally, cannot do anything about it.
That's right. We as people, we really can't do anything about what anybody in our government decides to do. All we can do is worry about taking care of ourselves. That's why I don't understand so many people insist on living off of the government if they have a choice not to. I don't understand why people choose that. We all need to take care of ourselves. And that's another reason why there are such things as community outreach. There are food bank programs. There are churches that do things for people because you can trust.
Well, here's my thing. People be complaining about other people and billionaires and all this stuff. But then we got to look at your situation. You're underprivileged, right? If somebody's underprivileged, like all these people say that they're underprivileged, then why didn't you just stay single and childless and work on yourself so that you can get yourself to a sustainable point and so that you can close the gap? By close the gap, that means catch up. We'll have people talking about they underprivileged, but then they decide to sabotage their own life. You know what you were privileged with? Thank goodness that when you come out into the world and you become an adult, you don't just have kids assigned to you, and then now you got to take care of them and raise them. As well as you're privileged. We see a lot of people privileged, especially women, and we see them privileged to have so many different options and forms of contraception to avoid pregnancy, but yet it feels like we see more pregnancy than ever, and then people struggling. So we want to talk about privileges. Privileges. This is the biggest time in society where a regular person can actually create something for themselves using technology, using whatever. But my main point is that you can't blame about privilege. And then we see so many people making their situations harder. And it really just comes back to their own choices and decisions. Privilege or not, you were privileged to come out here childless to where you only had to take care of yourself. But then what we see is a lot of people sabotage their life in ways to where it's like you could barely take care of yourself. How did you now end up here with 5 kids and you think that's sustainable and you think that that's feasible and practical? Y'all are out here making impractical decisions, and then you want to pass the buck and you want to have the government or the taxpayer take care of you or whoever take care of you. Ultimately, you don't want to take responsibility. Get out of here.
Oh my God. What me and my kids gonna do? I only got $60 in my food. They cut my food stamps to 60.
Okay, so was this privilege? The caption says Trump took me and my 6 kids' food stamps. Only left with $60. Mm-hmm. She's underprivileged, man. They held her down and forced her to have 6 kids. All these situations, man, if you single, then what would you be complaining about then? Not single. If you're childless, then what would you be complaining about then? Then you just be a lazy, entitled person online screaming. But then people are like, oh, I'm struggling and it's the billionaires and how you expect us to live and because we got all these kids. And it's like, well, you weren't underprivileged. No one told you to have kids. Especially when we're talking about 6. What makes you think you get to have 6 kids? 6? That's designated for royalty. And then if to add insult to injury, be deciding to have an exorbitant amount of kids, but be single. But be single. And then want to talk about I want to be a single stay-at-home parent. How? I feel like that's privilege, man. The way y'all been taking advantage of these benefits for all this time. I don't want to hear you talk about privilege. Cause y'all been privileged for a long time. A long time. There's been no checks and balances. Man, you ain't been held to no standard, no requirements whatsoever. You can truly just look at it like for the longest, it's been unregulated. Now that's privilege. Because it's been decades that it's been unregulated. Oh man, that's privilege. I want to talk about underprivileged.
I only got $60 in my food. They cut my food stamps to $60. What me and my kids gonna do? Like, that's crazy. I looked at my thing. It say $60. What is that? I got about 6 kids. What is that gonna do? $60? Like, you got to be kidding me right now. Like, I am so tight right now. I really is pissed off. Pissed off. Like, and my public housing, like, what I'm finna do? I done got an eviction letter. Like, what am I finna do? I was living 3 years rent free. Like, you gotta be kidding me. Like, what am I supposed to do now?
So she been living 3 years rent free. We want to talk about privilege. See, she thought it was going to be like everybody else, and she was going to keep it for decades. 3 years rent free. Oh man, that's a privilege. That's a privilege. You don't even stay with your parents, so you still even got autonomy. And I would argue that autonomy is what has led to your own devices. Because you need to be checked and corrected. Because I don't know how we got to 6 kids. You know what's funny about that privilege thing that the other woman said? Underprivileged, underprivileged. We're so underprivileged. But yet we live in America. You know this isn't the only country in the world, right? Oh, but it dang near is the only country that takes care of people with government assistance. But she wants to talk about underprivileged. Other countries don't have Section 8 and food stamps and all this other stuff. We're dang near the only country that goes this far of links and have had people living for free for 3 years and really decades before now. We're like the only country that does this. And she wants to talk about underprivileged. She don't even realize we're more privileged than every other country. There's you know how many people are on this earth and you live in this country and you're actually one of the people in this country taking advantage of something and you're talking about underprivileged? No, you're entitled. That's what you are. You're not underprivileged, you're entitled. Underprivileged. Where else in what other country do you get to make all these decisions and then have somebody else be incentivized to do it and have somebody else pick up the slack and you don't got to take no responsibility for it?
Trump has cut my food stamps from $2,800 down to $350. Now, what am I supposed to do? Huh? So I literally just got this piece of mail today saying that due to new policy changes from the Trump administration, all this shit, whatever, that all these cuts and whatever he's doing over there, now they're telling me I have to go work. Now I have to go do all this. Well, I literally got 5 kids. Okay, I'm trying to sit here and spend time with them. I'm not trying to go work, 50, 60 hours a week so I can pay bills. I just really don't understand. I voted for him this last election because I thought what he had good was going on, but now all of a sudden, all this policy stuff's coming out, and now he's making all these cuts, and now he doesn't want to help the less fortunate people no more.
Less fortunate.
I'm done with that guy. I'm not. If he gets voted in again,
Less fortunate.
I'm leaving this country.
Why would he get voted in
because
again?
I'm not dealing with this no more. Trump has cut my food stamps from $2,800.
He said if he gets voted in again, sir, this is his second term. Oh my gosh, man, what's going on? As well as, did you hear the language, the victim language again? Did you hear the victim language? So she said underprivileged. He said something. I flagged it. Hold on. When he said
down to $350. Now all of a sudden, all this policy stuff's coming out, and now he's making all these cuts, and now he doesn't want to help
less fortunate. He said he doesn't want to help
the less fortunate people no more.
The less fortunate people. How are you less fortunate, bro? He said, what? I want to spend time with my kids. You expect me to work 50, 60 hours a week? No, I don't want to do that. So what's that tell you? This fool decided to have 5 kids and probably a wife. And yet, he's only working 40 hours a week. What makes you think as a man, you get to have 5 kids, a household of 7, and you only get to work 40 hours a week and you don't have a phenomenal job? But he's less fortunate, right? What within you, excuse me, what within you made you feel like you were capable to be able to take care and provide for a family of that size? Terrible leadership, poor discernment. And so, based off listening to you, the only thing that I could possibly say that you may be less fortunate in is you might not have been given as many brain cells as the average person. Because listening to you talk, I don't know what's going on upstairs.
This lady at Walmart got mad at me for using...
The caption says, lady at Walmart mad that I have my nails done while on EBT.
This lady at Walmart got mad at me for using my EBT and having my nails done.
Okay, so you got EBT and you got your nails done. I mean, I can see why someone would get mad. But go on.
So this lady was standing behind me and I was getting ready to pay, and of course I take out my EBT card. Because what else am I going to pay with?
Or you could have used like a debit card or a credit card. I mean, there's Apple Pay.
And then she's like, ma'am, I love your nails. How much did they cost? I'm like, oh, these were like $85.
$85? Man, that makes me mad. What else are you
Priorities all screwed up.
spending that kind of money on and getting EBT?
She's like, you paid $85. I'm like, yes, bitch. I'm sorry. I didn't know that you can't have your nails done and be on EBT. I didn't know that was such a Right.
Well, I mean, if you got $85 to spend on getting your nails done.
Okay, but you asking me, I'm telling you. Listen, I'm telling you. Listen, I can bring it down. I'll bring it down. Okay, okay.
Yeah, you definitely need to bring it down. But why did we get it up to begin with? That's what we got to understand. Why did we bring it up to begin with? Why don't you have self-control at this big age of whatever age you are, which I would probably say is over, you're at least 50. You're at least 50. So why can't we control ourselves? Why can't we control our impulses and ultimately just handle things in a mature way? Especially, who is it that she's talking to like this, which ultimately is being disrespectful? She's being disrespectful to this black man who presents himself clearly in a professional manner. And the entire time he was restrained and he operated professionally. And so you decide you're going to come out and take things out on this black man or whatever the case. But yet what we see a lot of times is people don't want to take no responsibility for themselves. Because the caption says new food stamp regulations gone wrong. So what we can interpret from the situation is there's possibly certain things that she has in her stuff that doesn't meet the threshold for the new junk food ban in whatever state that she's in. Because I think that the states also have some leeway as far as whether or not they're going to adopt those specific regulations. She may live in a state where they did adopt it. And so now she's going to have to make some adjustments to the type of things that she buys, which probably won't be the worst thing in the world. Because she definitely does not look like, the hungry kids in Africa. We'll just say that. So, why do we then decide we're going to take it out on this black man who doesn't deserve it? And so now you might have just messed up his day, while meanwhile, he's a productive person who's taking responsibility for his life, which ultimately, it's like we got to start treating that like that's a contribution to society, because we got so many people draining from society who don't want to be productive. You're a double drain on society. And I'm not saying her in general, but I'm just saying the people who either sabotage their life and make their life harder based off their own decisions, and then they can't work, so they're not contributing to infrastructure as well as just contributing and doing their fair share, right? And at the same time, they're actually draining because now we have to put our tax dollars and allocate it towards taking care of them. And people get on these programs, they don't want to let them go. They don't want to let it go. So we got people staying on these things for too long. And there's always new people ready to get on it, but we very rarely have old people ready to get off it. And so you're not contributing as well as you're draining. And then you want to come here to someone who is contributing, because when you go to the grocery store, you would like there to be a worker who can ring your stuff up. And you're going to treat them like this. You're going to treat a service worker like this because you weren't privy to the new rules.
So I just finally got confirmation that food stamps is officially cut for next month.
About 2 months ago, I stopped eating dinner almost every night of the week so that my boyfriend and I could have enough food left over to have lunch the next day. This was before we were about to lose our food stamps. Mind you, we both work.
I don't think that we really realize.
My boyfriend and I, if y'all both work, Sounds like that's cool. But if y'all have kids, you can both work. Some people think that they work, but you might not work enough. Are you working? Shoot, the work requirements only force you to work 20 hours a month, or excuse me, a week. How much are you working? Then, as well, what we have to look at is your lifestyle. How did you strategize your lifestyle? Where do you live? Listen, do you want autonomy or not? Do you want the autonomy to be able to do whatever you want to do or not? Because if not, then start handing your life over and then let other people make the decisions. And you better not question it. And you better do exactly what they say, whether you want to or not. Whether you want to or not. Because what you might find, you might say, I want to live in a metropolitan area. Nah, take your butt to Mississippi. You can live just fine there. But see, then people be like, nah, I don't want to go to Bumble, whatever, Mississippi. Oh, okay. Well, then strategize. Listen, you got the cars that you got, but people be adding to the deck. And by adding to the deck, we see people adding this overhead, having these kids they don't have no business having, inflicting their life, coming on social media, saying the craziest things.
I think that we really realize the depth that this is, the damage that this is going to do, but the women, the mothers, and the families, but the mothers especially, who are going to go without meals so their children don't have to. I know that I will absolutely be one of those mothers.
But because we have children and because aftercare and before care is too expensive, I've taken a job that's basically minimum wage so that I can be there to pick up my kids. I cannot fathom what we're going to do without that food stamp money, because if I already couldn't eat dinner with that food stamp money.
And you know what? You know another decision that you got to make sure that you make? You got to make sure. We see a lot of people making bad decisions about who they decide to have kids with. Ladies, who you decide to have kids with. You didn't tell me that your boyfriend has any type of disability or whatever. So if he doesn't have a disability, were you looking for a leader before you just started creating a family? And by leader, I mean somebody that's also going to lead by example and that's going to do whatever it takes to make sure that his family's good and that his chick doesn't have to come online crying for the world. And by that, I mean, is he willing to work 3 jobs? And then, because we're talking about daycare and all this type of stuff. See, this is why I mean, you have to strategize your own life. He could work during the daytime, and if he needs to, he can stay up a little bit, but the kids should be asleep, right? And then you can go work the graveyard shift. 40 hours. That may be what it takes. He at least needs to get a second job. He's not willing to do whatever it takes to make sure that his family is surviving. Obviously, y'all are surviving, but I would think that it's getting desperate at this point if you have to come online acting like this. So who are we choosing to have kids with? And what traits and characteristics did we recognize in them that then led us to say, ooh, let me start a family with this person? I feel like they're capable, and I feel like they'll never let us struggle if they could help it. And it can happen to anybody, but I want to hear, like, is he doing everything that he can? Is he balls to the wall? I highly doubt it. I highly doubt it. And funny enough, man, you see people who are single with no kids going balls to the wall, working 3 jobs. So I don't be understanding how we got people out here with kids and a family, but that, like that other guy, want to only work 40 hours a week and then talk about they're less fortunate.
Stamp money.
I'm so tired of seeing people say, like, oh, well, maybe if you had a job, you could
get your groceries, or you know what I'm saying, you would have to depend on stamps. I work full time. Thank you.
All right, well, we're running short on time, y'all, so we'll leave it there for today. Y'all, if you could like the video, I greatly appreciate it. Only takes a second, and it actually helps out more than you know. And also, if you could hype the video. Hype is a new feature that YouTube offers where it helps smaller content creators like myself. And basically, when you hype, it actually pushes us to the extent that it pushes the larger content creators. So you just press the hype button and it shows the points. And since I'm a smaller creator, a smaller channel, we actually get more points per hype. And hype was designed for smaller channels. So that's why. But if you come across a video and you don't see the hype button, then it's probably been over 7 days, and hype usually vanishes after 7 days. So it's usually best practice, if you want to hype, to just go ahead and hype while the iron is hot on a newer video. And then also, if you want to become a member of the channel as well, the join button's on the video. And what becoming a member of the DXU family will come with is you would get badges next to your comments, as well as you would get early access to content and also exclusive content that's not available for everyone else on YouTube. And then also, again, I did start the Clips channel, and it will be pinned and linked in the top comment. So I'd appreciate it if you guys can go over there and subscribe. Again, I post 3 shorter form videos on there every day. But until then, I'll see you in the next video.